beautifully. It's almost as if you planned it into what I want to talk about next, or our next question for these guys is, you know, you look around the room or you look around Comic-Con, we're all fans of many, many things. I see many costumes of different properties in this room. And yet when you walk into the Harry Potter community, without fail, everybody over a decade now has said to us, God, why is it different in the Harry Potter community? What is it about Harry? We get this question nonstop. What is it about Harry? Why do the fans act this way? Why do they have a shot at making their fandom grow and flourish beyond the ends of their debuts of films and movies, films and books, whereas other properties have sort of, tapered off a bit? What do you guys think about that?
I think friendships play a large role, and actually I was going to bring that up earlier. The friendships in the Harry Potter community, that's one of the things that's going to keep it going for a while, because you always have those friendships. If there may not be new books and movies anymore, but we're still all going to be best friends. I mean, you and I met back in 2004?
Yeah, no, 2005.
2005. And Ben, my friend Ben, we're best friends. He lived in Kansas, I lived in New Jersey, now we both live in Southern California. It's just the friendships that come through Harry Potter are amazing, and I think that's what makes the difference. When we go to these Harry Potter conferences, it's like a big family reunion again, everybody's back together, having a good time. So, yeah, I think it's the friendships. They're the best, you really can't.
Yeah, there's been a lot of personal connections forged. With all of us, I think all of us now have a bond in our swell friend Heidi, who's not here, but yeah, Darren?
If I may riff on the friendship thing, I think one of the immediate things that stand out for me for Harry Potter is like I said earlier, the prominence of youth and of how these heroes are children essentially, and I in particular grew up with Harry Potter. I was the same age as him when I started reading the first book. So I think there's a very strong sense. I mean, everybody relates to being a child. I mean, it's a very basic thing that all we just grew up. This is how we get to know each other. And there's such a strong, unbreakable bond with a lot of the things that Harry and they go through in school, regardless of magic and all this and the turmoil that he goes through. There's something that connects all of us as far as being young and dealing with that is concerned. And regardless of what age you are, reading that and buying into that really connects you to another person. And unlike any other fan thing that I can really think of, I mean, it gets to go back to Star Wars: Lord of the Rings. These surround adults with weapons and adult love affairs and things like these, mature quotes, literary lives, whereas these are just kids having fun, trying to figure stuff out, and the innocence in that is just so pure. That is what makes everything so pure about our little world. So.
And I think you touched on this in one of your speaking engagements. Yeah, the internet has played a huge role in the Harry Potter fandom, because the internet was thriving, was coming up as Harry Potter was. So we have these sites, and again, Twitter and Facebook. Everybody's connecting. All the Harry Potter fans are connecting through that. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars probably didn't. They didn't have it because the new books weren't coming out when the internet was around. So.
The internet. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, the other thing about it is about kids, but it's about kids that there's the adventure aspect, which is true to Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and all that other stuff. But there's an element of diversity inside the whole Harry Potter storyline and the characters. Even as children, they embrace their individuality. Hermione's super, super smart. There's characters in it that there's also an equality, an automatic equality between guys and girls, because they're witches and wizards. Everybody has magic. So I think it really embraces such a diversity of people in a way that I don't think any other fandom does or ever has, even as children. So there's a way where it allows kids to grow up in a more where they can celebrate their individuality from the beginning, where there's not you get to be a teenager and you watch Star Trek or Star Wars and you see the aliens and you think, oh, I'm like the guy that's half black, half white. No, it's there really is, from the beginning, you identify, and you know what? I have Slytherin friends. I'm Ravenclaw. It's okay. We're all in it together, and
Sorry. Sorry, I just broke into High School Musical right there.
Yeah, so yay. So I think that there's that aspect of it. And I experienced much more a diversity of the fandoms because I sell Star Wars art and I sell Harry Potter. And, you know, there's so many different properties, old movies. I have so many different experiences with different fandoms. And the Harry Potter group of people is not trying to, but really they're the smartest.
There's no better core to start this multi-massive platform fandom thing that Andrew is trying to do, to take that activism and that love and turn it into real world action than Harry Potter, because it's continual. It takes a certain energy to get somebody to see a film that isn't popularly publicized at that moment in time. That is not the case with Harry Potter. A parent hands a child a book, and it's always started with that, and it's always going to continue with that.
I can't wait for
A
that.
little fun. I know you don't have a guitar, Darren, but
I don't know.
don't you know you're always supposed to, it's in your contract. You're always I am waging a bet that most of the people in this room know the lyrics to Going Back to Hogwarts. And I was wondering if you could lead us in a little bit of a group sing. No pressure, it's starting already.
Oh, it's starting?
Somebody give us the opening chords, please.
It's a very long song.
A verse, we can do a verse.
We can just do the
last
chord.
thing
We
I
can do
know.
the last part.
The left.
The last part
Yeah.
where it changes keys. Like the witches and wizards.
Magical beast, the goblins and ghosts and the magical beast. It's all that I love and it's all that I need at Hogwarts, Hogwarts. I think I'm going back.
If you have no idea what just happened, that's healthy. It's okay.
All right, so
I don't know what just happened.
our last discussion before we move into questions, would like you guys to tell us in the room what you are hoping to see next in our community. What happens after that movie? If you could pick one thing to happen among us fans when these movies are finished, what would it be? Yes, you have to go first.
Another book. And it will start the whole cycle all over again.
Sounds good to me.
I don't know, I'm gonna have to go back to the friendship thing again, like with the conferences and, you know, meetups, what people do, you know, just within the Harry Potter family is fantastic. Conferences primarily. It's like I was saying earlier, it's like a big family reunion.
So we'll see you all at LeakyCon 2011?
Yes.
LeakyCon.com, go to it today.
I'm talking way too much. I really, speaking of, we were talking about this leads everything together as far as online community and all the new art that just generated. I love a lot of the deviant art accounts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really great fan art that is just awesome. And I am always like, wait, who is this character? Like, did you just make this up? I want to know more about Steve the Great.
Book 6, Chapter 2.
Yeah, page 89. Yeah, well, I don't know, there's just a lot of cool creative stuff out there that I would love to see trying to graphic novel or something more up my alley. Yeah, that'd be sweet, but I don't know, I had a discussion with my friend if J.K.'s ever gonna write anything. She doesn't have to, she doesn't have to do anything the rest of her life, but
Oh, that brings me to a message and an announcement, but no, I'm kidding. Sorry. I'm so close to this.
I'd be curious to see if she would like even delve into creating anything else. But that'd be cool.
Supposedly she is writing another book that's not Harry.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Along with what you're talking about, my experience with Warner Brothers and the process to allow for authorized art to be released is that every single thing that ever gets released as artwork has to have been used either in the book or in the making of the movies. And I'm trying to get someone to give us authorization to create an interpretive art collection of Harry Potter, because there's so much fan art out there that's really exceptional and beautiful work, and the artists are becoming very well known. And so I would love to see, and I know a lot of the people who are choosing what gets accepted and what gets, I got to actually pick this piece of artwork to be released. And
Can you show that
Oh,
piece
yeah.
now?
It was actually made a long time ago, and so it was just really, it's very, very pretty. We did all the front covers, and this was the piece that they released for the opening of Wizard World. And what's funny about it is that it was Mary and Joe working together and deciding what it was going to look like, and the seriously heavy-duty trivia spouting fans will know that north, south, east, west isn't exactly right in this picture. So it just sort of like, they just wanted to create the feeling of Hogwarts, which I think it really does do, but it's kind of fun because it's like sort of shows the story of, or the sentiment of Hogwarts, the tone and everything, yeah. And there's so much going on in the piece. But what I'd like to see is more of the fan art or the fan artists to be accepted as, interpretive artists in the collection of artwork available as official art of Harry Potter. That would be amazing. And I'm trying, working
As we've seen at Comic-Con, there's no shortage of talent in the art world. So.
I'd like to see two things. What's that?
World peace.
Yeah. Okay. So the two things are, one, as what we do as individuals, and two, what we do as a community. And so just to speak to what we do as individuals, and this is inevitably going to happen. And that's why I'm so grateful that J.K. Rowling wrote these books, and that we're all here, is that after these are over, for the rest of our lives, if we so choose, that we can go into the Gryffindor common room, or whatever common room you choose, within our own selves, and play by the fire there, and play with our friends who have become our friends, and that we have had such life journeys with together, and continue to explore this endless world that is endless, and continue to find riches there within ourselves. Because I think, if nothing else, the books have opened up these enormous riches within ourselves, and that Harry, Hermione, and Ron are inside of us as our friends. And even if we're alone and we think of something, because we're going to have difficult times in our lives, and we can go to our friends there, and when they help us, and we think, well, they're not really helping us, it's just happening in our heads. Just because it's happening in our head doesn't mean it's not real. So, but the second thing I'd like to see is, first of all, I want to acknowledge that we are an intergenerational fandom, which is awesome. And there's a lot of people here in this room who are well over the age of 30. And you guys rock.
No idea what you're talking about.